Psalm 75:1. Unto thee, O Yahweh, we give thanks. Unto thee we give thanks.
Hallelujah.
For that thy name is near, thy wondrous works declare.
Strength of my salvation. I just gotta thank my Lord. Hallelujah. Strength of my life. Hallelujah.
Or deed, do all in the name of God, one Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him.
Right, so everything we do the most out of Mashiach Yahushua's name, that's what true spiritual power in heaven, that's going to be established right before every great kingdom was destroyed. The Heavenly Father sent forth the seven of the prophets, the born one that generation, in Hosea 4 verse 1. But you're going to find out that you've been lied to by your pastors, by your preachers, by your rabbis, by your political leaders. We are living in the last days according to Bible prophecy. Okay? Donald Trump is taking us into the third world war. Read that.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1.
Come on.
Hear the word of the Lord.
What?
Hear the word of the Lord.
Where's the word of the Lord found at? It's found in the Bible. Best instructions before leaving out. Read that again.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1.
Come on.
Hear the word of the Lord.
Right?
Ye children of Israel.
Ye what?
Ye children of Israel.
Right, ye children of Israel. It's a mystery. Okay, in the year 2019, who are the real Jews, okay, Israelites according to the Bible? You would talk to the so-called white man as a Jew. You would stand before the real Jews according to the Bible. Read that again.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1.
Come on.
Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel.
Right, we're here to tell you that what? That we are the true children of Israel according to the Bible, according to the Torah. Christ himself with a so-called black man. Let me ask you a question. Who is this? Who is this? According to what? Do you go to church? Do you read your Bible? Where in the Bible does it say that Christ was a Caucasian? Huh? I'm right? Give me Revelation 1 verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1.
Come on.
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
The what?
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
Right, the revealing of the Messiah, because the Messiah walked the earth. He had a body, and his body had a color. Nowhere in the Bible did they say that the Christ was a Caucasian. A lot of you say, well, why does it matter? What is the color? The truth matters according to the Bible. Read that again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1.
Come on.
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
The revealing of the Messiah. Come on.
Which God gave unto him.
To what?
To him.
God gave unto John the Revelator on the island of Patmos the revelation of the true Messiah according to the Bible. Come on.
To show unto his servants.
To do what?
To show unto his servants.
To show unto his servants. We're the same servants that you read about in the Bible. Jeremiah, Isaiah, Daniel. Read that again.
Which God gave unto him.
Come on.
To show unto his servants.
Come on.
Things which must surely come to pass.
Things which must surely come to pass. What's coming to pass? What's ahead of us? The Third World War. While you out here partying in Wynwood, the Most High God is preparing destruction for America. Give me the 12th verse.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 12.
Right?
And I turned to see a voice.
Come on.
That spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
Come on, this is John the Revelator on the island of Patmos. He's being given the revelation of the Messiah. A lot of you believe that what? That the Messiah was a Caucasian. Okay? This is a lie according to the Bible. Read.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
So who is the Son of Man when we read the Bible? Christ, Hamashiach Yahushua. Read.
Abanawa Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shabaraka Thumb. Kwam Yasharala. Give them something they could dance to. Never leave home without my friends zone. Never leave home without my friends zone. Never leave home without my friends zone. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my friends on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my friends on. Yeah, never leave home without my friends on. And book of numbers 15 and 38 is shown. I'll be posted where I'm on throughout a generation. When you got them on, you set apart from these other nations. Gotta let your light shine, let them know it's on. When the 1/3 awaken, we'll be going home. Got on my friends with my Z's and they hanging long. When I run into my Akium, they hollering shalom. So I never leave home without my friends on. If I go and hit the mall, I got my friends on. Even if I'm going to a ball, I got my friends on. With the border blue ribbon and the all white linen on. I don't feel right if I ain't got them on. Like a pair of shoes, there's no excuse to leave them home. So you never catch me out without my friends on. Cause we the church, got them on my garment and on every shirt. Yeah, never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my friends on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my friends on.
Yeah, my fringes, I be rocking, I be stomping, never stopping, Millie rocking. Why you acting out of pocket? Why you gotta do that? Keep commandments easy peasy, it ain't greedy. Keep it flowing like some gravy, do the work. I ain't lazy. Keep commandments understanding, never slacking. You'll never ever catch me with the eyes. Always giving my praises to Holy Father Abba. Catch me in the streets with my fringes on.
Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my friends on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my friends on. Yeah.
Never leave home without my fringes. You won't never catch me lacking cause I'm always representing. Got fake Jews all up in they feelings. Yeah, I see you staring at me. Your suggestion, mind your business on. Never let swine touch my lips. So if you eat pork, baby, you can never kiss them. Only fools say how it don't exist. Man, this word like a sword, spit your soul from your spirit. You ain't keeping all the laws, don't you hit my phone. I ain't Rodney King, I don't wanna get along. I done told the slave master I ain't working on the Sabbath. Written soul fringes all up on my uniform. Cry loud, spare not wisdom with the knowledge. I can't sugarcoat it for you, I ain't Willy Wonka. Drip so hard, baby, this that holy water. And it's Kwam Yasharala till we hit the coffin. Ooh.
Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my friends on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my friends on. Yeah. Give them something they could dance to. Something they can dance to. Abanawa Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shabaraka Thumb. Kwam Yasharala. Give them something they could dance to. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without my friends on. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my friends on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my friends on. Yeah, never leave home without my friends on. And book of numbers 15 and 38 is shown. I'll be posted supposed to wear them all throughout a generation. When you got them on, you set apart from these other nations. Gotta let your light shine, let them know it's on. When the 1/3 awaken, we'll be going home. Got on my fringes with my Z's and they hanging long. When I run into my Aki, I'm there hollering shalom. So I never leave home without my fringes on. If I go and hit the mall, I got my fringes on. Even if I'm going to a ball, I got my fringes on. With the border blue ribbon and the all white linen on. I don't feel right if I ain't got them on. Like a pair of shoes, there's no excuse to leave them home. So you never catch me out without my fringes on. Cause we the church, got them on my garment and on every shirt, yeah. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my fringes on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my fringes on.
With my fringes, I be rocking, I be stomping, never stopping, Millie rocking. Why you acting out of pocket? Why you gotta do that? Keep commandments easy peasy, it ain't greedy. Keep it flowing like some gravy, do the work. I ain't lazy. Keep commandments understanding, never slacking. You'll never ever catch me with the eyes. Always giving my praises to Holy Father Abba. Catch me in the streets with my fringes on.
Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my fringes on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my fringes on.
Never leave home without my fringes. You won't never catch me lacking cause I'm always representing. Got fake Jews all up in they feelings. Yeah, I see you staring at me. I suggest you mind your business on. Never let swine touch my lips. So if you eat pork, baby, you can never kiss them. Only fools say yeah, how it don't exist. Man, this word like a sword, spit your soul from your spirit. You ain't keeping all the laws, don't you hit my phone. I ain't Rodney King, I don't wanna get along. I done told the slave master I ain't working on the Sabbath. Went soul Frenches all up on my uniform. Cry loud, spare not wisdom with the knowledge. I can't sugarcoat it for you, I ain't Willy Wonka. Drip so hard, baby, this that holy water. And it's Kwame Yasharala till we hit the coffin. Ooh.
Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my fringes on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my fringes on. Give them something they could dance to. Something they can dance to. Remember, never leave home without your fringes on. Abanawa Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shabaraka Thumb. Kwame Yasharala. Give them something they could dance to. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without them. I sing along. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Always got my fringes on with my Z. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Cause I never leave home without my fringes on. Never leave home without my fringes on. And book of Numbers 15 and 38 is shown. I'm supposed to wear them all throughout a generation. When you got them on, you set apart from these other nations. Gotta let your light shine, let them know it's on. When the 1/3 awaken, we'll be going home. Got on my fringes with my Z's and they hanging long. When I run into my Aki, I'm there hollering shalom. So I never leave home without my fringes on. If I go and hit the mall, I got my fringes on. Even if I'm going to a ball, I got my fringes on. With the border blue ribbon and the all white linen on. I don't feel right if I ain't got
Shabbat Shalom Yasharala. Show much Goshan. And all praise the Most High about so much Goshan. To all Israelites, to the four corners of the earth. We are the Light of Zion down here in South Florida, located at 2937 West Broad Boulevard. I am Elder Bishop Lapalal. To my left is
Officer Aliyah.
Kan. Beyond. Thank the Most High again for another Shabbat day, where Israel can come together in holy convocation as per the covenant that we made with our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we're going to continue today, and in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11. Previously we did cover the chapters pertaining to the Queen of Sheba visiting King Solomon. Today we're going to continue with King Solomon leading up to the dividing of his kingdom. We're gonna see what transpired as to why the kingdom that was previously ruled by one king. King Saul, the first king of Israel, who ruled for 40 years, and then King David, who also ruled for 40 years, and then King Solomon. How long did he rule? There's something about the 40. I don't know what it is. So let's start up in Colossians 3 verse 17.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Mashiach Yahushua.
Right. Whatever you do in word or deed, those are very important, those two words. Word or deed. Whatever you say or whatever you do, make sure they're consistent with the scriptures. Consider with the Most High's commandments and the teaching of the Mashiach Yahushua. Understand? Not leaning toward your own understanding or misunderstanding as it may be, but in accordance to the Most High's commandments and the teaching of the Mashiach Yahushua, who always adhered to the Most High's commandments. All right? Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 11. Verse 1.
1 Kings chapter 11. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites.
Right. Let's get, before we even start to break this down, go ahead and give me Deuteronomy 7 verse 1. What did the Most High say about that? And read out to like verse 6. Deuteronomy 7 verse 1. Read out to verse 6.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power.
We are holy, we're separate, different from the other nations. Read on.
The Most High thy power hath chosen thee.
Chosen. When you are chosen, what does that mean? The Most High had other options. A variety of other nations whom we all created, but he chose one particular nation. And we happen to be that nation, the nation of Israel. Read on.
The Most High thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people.
Special, man. We're special. We didn't. Yeah, we didn't know we're special, even though they call us niggas, big sweatbacks, and all that, as if we have worse. And the reason why they do that, because they know that we're special. Understand? And they try to hide the fact from us that we are special by treating us as the worst. So when you come here in this truth, it's a blessing to you that the Most High has chosen you, will walk you up, let you know that what? You're special. Read on.
To be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
We are not all equal. We are not all equal. Even in Israel, we are not all equal. We are under the equal protection of the law of the Most High, and all the laws of the Most High pertain to each one of us specifically. But we're not all equal in the sense that what? We have different gifts, different talents. Understand? Which all, in all compassing, collectively beneficial to all nations, but we have different talents. We're not all equal in that sense, and we are in a worldly sense, we are not all equal. We are above all nations on earth. Read on.
Verse 7. The Most High did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people.
Right. The Most High didn't set his eye upon us or choose us because we were larger in number than any other nation. Why? Why is that? We were the last nation to be created. Remember? When we went to Egypt, what? Jacob and 28 souls? 70 years old when we went to Egypt. All those nations were already established. We were the last. But the Most High chose us anyway. Because the Most High gave me all that, gave me Matthew, Genesis 15:13. When the Most High talked to Abraham regarding Israel, and Abraham didn't even have a child yet. And there were all kind of nations on this earth at the time. Genesis 15 verse 13. Read on.
This is Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
Right. What are they talking about? The Most High told Abram that know of a certainty that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. The land was Egypt, which was already an established nation. Abraham didn't even have a seed yet. So you know that and that seed that the Most High was talking about was potatoes, Israel. Understand? So, we were the last nation, that we were the fewest. Read on.
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Right.
Substance.
Great. Let's go back to
Deuteronomy or Kings?
Deuteronomy.
Okay. Verse 7. The Most High did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people.
Right, we were the least. We weren't even a nation yet. And the Most High was talking to Abraham. Read on.
For ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Most High loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers.
Whose fathers? Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham. That's the oath that the Most High swore unto our fathers. That's why we got the love. We got the love because the Most High loved our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand? And that covenant the Most High made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was ratified, was confirmed with us. So the Most High loved because we are the seed of our forefathers. Understand? Read on.
Hath the Most High brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Most High thy power, he is God,
right,
the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
What? 1,000 generations. So that covenant the Most High made with our fathers way back is 1,000 generations, and 1,000 could be, that's symbolic. It could be 2,000, 3,000, whatever. It's whatever. The same. It doesn't matter. It means perpetually. So whatever the Most High told Abraham concerning his seed, that pertains to us today. So our connection with the Most High is everlasting. We never forgot. No matter what they tell us that we are nobody, no matter how much they treat us that we nobody, know and understand that what the scripture says. So my kind of low, right? Know and understand that what? That covenant is 1,000 generations, I mean perpetually. Everlasting. The Most High is always connected to us. We are never on our own. So whatever we're going through, we always got a pipeline, a connection with the Most High. We can reach out to Him. I said, what did He say now? Even when we're in Egypt, what did the Most High say? They cried unto the Most High I respect unto them. The Most High remember the covenant that they made with our fathers. So in these last days, we have to do the same thing. Cry unto the Most High. And the Most High will have respect unto us. I remember the covenant that we made with our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Am I good? Am I sound here? Okay. I'm kind of low. I read on now.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 10. And repayeth them that hate him to their face.
Right, and repay them that hate him to their face. So all these nations were glorifying and killing us, slaughtering us in the street like we're nobody. Yo, they got hell to pay. Trust me. You're not going to get away with it. Read on.
To destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. Right. He will repay him to his face.
Even us don't want to obey the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. The Most High's going to what? He's going to hold us accountable too. Read on.
Verse 11. Thou shalt therefore keep...
Wait.
Deuteronomy 7 and 11.
Hold on a second. You did special people yet?
Yes, we read 7 and 6.
All right, go back. Yeah, you're right. Go back to Genesis. 1 Kings 7. 1 Kings 11, verse 1.
Kahaan. 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
Hold on a second. Let me get Deuteronomy. I want to get Deuteronomy where the Most High said not to
7 and 3 is when to make marriages.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 7 and 3.
Did you skip over that? Did you read that?
No, we didn't read it yet.
You should have started verse 1. We just started verse 6.
No, we started at 6. Yeah.
You should have started verse 1. That's what
I want to start at 1.
We didn't reach it yet. Start at verse 1.
Kahaan. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1. When the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest.
Right. This is when the Most High was talking to Israel when we came out of Egypt, and we were now in the wilderness. Read on.
To possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites.
Right. So the Most High got to cast them because that land of Canaan was inhabited by different nations before us. Read on.
The Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Right. Those nations were greater and mightier than we were because what? We were the fewest in numbers. These nations were established, they were organized, military-wise, economic-wise, and all that. And we were slaves in Egypt, trying to get ourselves together. Read on.
Verse 2. And when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee.
Said the Most High our power shall deliver them before us. It's always the Most High who delivers our enemies before us. It's never us by ourselves. So what does that mean? When you recognize your enemies, always go to the Most High to have your enemies be delivered to you. and never pursue that on your own. Because you haven't got, especially now in these last days, you haven't got the power or the capacity to do that. You have to go to the Most High. Read on.
Thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
Read on. This is very important now. Read on.
Nor show mercy unto them.
No covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Read on.
Verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither shall thou make marriage with them. Don't wipe them up. Don't give it. Read on.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
Don't give it daughters to their sons. That's what Moses said to our poor people. Read on.
Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
Right, because they didn't know the Most High. The Most High didn't know them. So if you link up with them, hook up with them, you have family with them, they're going to entice you to follow what? Their heathen gods. Their idols. Just like in these last days. If you hook up with these other nations, man, they don't know the Most High the way we know the Most High. You're going to have to worship Caesar Borgia, Buddha, Allah, and all those those idols. Read on.
That they may serve other gods.
Right.
So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them.
Go back to 1 Kings. I just went there to show you that the Most High already gave us a commandment coming out of Egypt for us not to make marriages with the people of the other nations. 1 Kings chapter 11.
1 Kings.
But let's see what Solomon did.
1 Kings chapter 11. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
But, see that but? But is like a contradiction. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, it's like contradiction to what the Most High established. But King Solomon, read again.
But King Solomon loved many strange women.
Right. Regardless of what the Most High said, Solomon had other ideas. Even though Solomon was very one who built the temple, or who sent out that great prayer on behalf of Israel to the Most High, but he got enticed by the other nations, by the women of the other nations. Read on.
Together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites,
Wow.
Ammonites.
The daughter of Pharaoh, that's the Egyptians, the Moabites, the Ammonites. Read on.
Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites.
So Solomon lived women of yo, this man was confused. This man was the wisest man. The Most High gave him infinite wisdom. But he got enticed by this woman. Read on.
Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Most High said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart.
Right, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. So you can see right here, different categories of wives, so to speak. Wives, which were some of whom were different status, princesses, and 300 concubines. So, none of the class we can break that down as what's the definition of a wife versus a concubine. We know a princess or even a princess. Like a princess, basically, maybe she's the daughter of a king. You know what I'm saying, which Pharaoh, the daughter of Pharaoh, because Pharaoh is that's like a title for for a king, right? So Pharaoh's daughter was princess right there. Understand? So like different categories of a woman. Wives versus concubines. Go ahead, bro.
What does concubine mean?
I'll read it
Out of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, concubine, a woman lawfully united in marriage to a man in a relation inferior to that of the regular wife.
See that? Read it again, huh?
Concubine.
A woman lawfully.
A woman lawfully united in marriage to a man.
Wait a woman lawfully in marriage to a man. Understand? She's in marriage to the man. Read on.
In a relation inferior.
In a relation, read on.
Inferior to that of the regular wife.
In a relation inferior to that of the regular wife. She's lawfully in a marriage to the man, but her status is lower than that of a regular wife. But he has 700 wives and 300 concubines. So, an example of that would be like, we could go back to our father, Abraham. Yes, Sarah, right, was his main wife. And at the same time, because she was barren, and she had Hagar, which was a maidservant, she gave Hagar to Abraham to also be Abraham's wife. So both of them were technically Abraham's wife. But Hagar was of a lower status than Sarah. Understand? So Sarah was a wife, and Hagar was a concubine. But technically, they were both wives. But one was of a lower status than the other one. Understand, brother? That's what that's talking about. Okay. They were both wives. Understand? But one was of a higher status than the other one. All right. So Sarah in that case was a wife, and Hagar was a concubine. Even though they were both wives. Understand? But there were different different titles given to them as far as status wise. You know what I'm saying?
So they would like, was they like a mistake?
They were like what?
Was it like a mistake or no?
Mistake?
Yeah.
It wasn't a mistake. Because according to the scriptures, a man can have any number of wives that he chose, which was convenient to him. But understand, but I just give it an example right there. We just read that what it is. Read it again, so you can get the definition of what concubine is.
Concubine.
Listen to very carefully.
A woman lawfully united in marriage.
She's lawfully united in marriage to a man. She's his wife. If she is lawfully united in marriage to the man, she is his wife. Right? You follow that? Read on.
To a man.
To a man, okay, right.
In a relation inferior to that of the regular wife.
In a relation inferior to that of the regular wife. That means what? The man also has another wife who was of a higher status than the concubine. You know what I'm saying? But they were both his wives. But one was of a higher status than the other. Okay? And I just went to the scripture to reference an example of that. With Sarah, a classic example. It's a classic example. Sarah and Hagar. Sarah was his main wife. Hagar was also his wife, but she was of a status inferior to Sarah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Go back to 1 Kings.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 4.
So I caught. No, go. All right, go on. Go back to 1 Kings.
1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
Right, he's old now, son, and they could easily manipulate him. Go on, read on. They turned his wife, they turned their heart after to their gods. Read on.
And his heart was not perfect with the Most High his power, as was the heart of David his father.
Right, he got old, so he got vulnerable, that he was easily manipulated by these young women, by his wives, you know what I mean? You know.
For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians.
See, I mean, the power of the woman. Because Solomon was so close to the Most High. He couldn't believe that anyone could take Solomon away from the Most High. But he went and think, what? The god went to Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians. Read on.
And after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
The abomination. Read on.
And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Most High, and went not fully after the Lord, after the Most High, as David did his father.
Right, because Solomon knew was wrong, but it's like you know what I mean. That's why David has said in the song, with that song where it says you know, give me the riches. You got it? Yeah, Proverbs, yeah. Yeah, Proverbs verse 8. Sometimes when they're too comfortable, you forgot it's a Most High who gave you that whatever you got. I put you in the comfort zone. Read it, right?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 30 and verse 8. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee, and say, who is the Most High? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of the Most High in vain.
Stop on the top again.
Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 8. Remove far from me vanity and lies.
See, the Most High said, that's David, Solomon said, remove far from me vanity and lies.
Give me neither poverty nor riches.
Give me a balance. Give me neither poverty or riches, because when you have one, you tend to do certain things versus the other one. You tend to do have a certain characteristic about you. Read on.
Feed me with food convenient for me.
Feed me with food convenient for me. You know what? I'm not going to go off one way or the other. I'm not going to struggle. I'm not going to thrive too much. If I struggle too much, I'm going to find myself in a position where I'm either going to compromise my integrity and deny the Most High. And if I'm, you know, I steal or do something like that, if I got too much, I'm going to neglect the Most High. I'm going to be too comfortable. I'm eating good, so I don't need the Most High, you know what I'm saying? I don't got to pray to the Most High asking for this or asking for that. Because I think I got everything I need. What do I need the Most High for? You know?
Lest I be full and deny thee.
Right, you're full and deny the Most High. Yeah, you're eating good. Everything's good at home. You don't need the Most High. That's a mindset that some people may have. That's the problem with a lot of people right now. The ones living a good life. Those are the ones, it's hard to reach them. It's very hard to reach them. I tell them, you're Israelite. You got to come back to your nationality. That means nothing to them. You know?
And say, who is the Most High?
If I say, who's the Most High? Even though they say they love God and all that, but in their actions, they're furthest away from the Most High. Read on.
Or at least I be poor and steal.
Right, if you're poor, you got to eat, man. You're poor, you got a job, you're hungry, bills got to be paid, and you don't know where your next meal is coming from. You may be tempted to do something, just to survive. Read on.
And take the name of the Most High in vain.
You may even curse the Most High and say, what? Where you at? Just like with Job. Job's wife said, cross the Most High and die. You know what I'm saying? So, even men may be tempted to do that. A lot of comments are like, if there's a God, I wouldn't be suffering like this. Not understanding why they're in the predicament that they're in to begin with. You know? Any more?
No, that's it on that.
Let's go back to 1 Kings. Oh. But first, we in the 1 Kings. We didn't even started yet.
We on the surface.
Yeah, go on.
Verse 7. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh,
Wow.
the abomination of Moab.
Wow, look at that. He built an altar for the god of the Moabites, Solomon. That's how much it went on. Read on.
In the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods.
So this guy was like, it's all good. Got all his wives. Laid up with all his wives. I think it's gravy. It's all good. He got the Most High, you know what I'm saying? So, his wives are like, caressing him, whispering in his ears and all that. You know what I'm saying? So when the concern at that point was to be in good terms with his wives. It was good. He got the Most High. The Most High was so far from Solomon at that point. Because everything was beautiful wives, thousands of them, different ages, young, old, whatever. Some with maturity, some young, was building all these altars for these women, man. Totally forgetting the Most High. Read on.
Verse 9. And the Most High was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Most High power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice.
Right, see that? But the Most High was angry. The Most High is a jealous God. What do you say? Give me what?
Nehemiah 1 and 2.
Jealous power, jealous God.
That's one of them.
Deuteronomy 16.
Which one? 8 verse 3 and what? Oh, Deuteronomy. I had another one on Nehemiah or Nahum. You said 8 and 3. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8 and verse 3. Mm-hmm. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and feed thee with mammon, which thou knowest not, neither did thy fathers know. Know that man doeth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High.
Oh, yeah,
no, that's not it.
The one I'm looking for is, let me do from 32:16.
32?
32:16, I believe that's it. Did that Israel know?
I got one. 32:16. Yes. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 16. Thou provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
See that? That's what I'm looking for. Provoking the Most High to jealousy. The Most High is a jealous God. He don't share. He don't share his honor with any idols, with any other God. Because he's the only God. Read it again now.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
That's what Israel has done historically. Provoking the Most High to jealousy. We can relate to jealousy on a personal level, like with a relationship wise, but with a woman. You don't want your woman out your head talking up in another man's space, you know what I'm saying? That's jealousy right there. That's provoking you to jealousy. All that to get me Isaiah 54 and 5.
Isaiah
54 verse 5. And the Most High is what? He's our husband. And the Most High the one that's talking to another God, like you know what I'm saying? We're talking about
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54 and verse 5. For thy maker is thine husband.
Who's our maker? The Most High. The Most High is our maker, is our what? Our husband. So what does that mean? That we are his wife. And as a wife, you don't want to talk to another man. Man, we're talking an analogy, right? So that the man will be like what? Another God. So the Most High don't want to talk to Israel going to another idol. It's the jealousy right there. Read on.
For thy maker is thine husband. The Most High of hosts is his name. And thy remember the Holy One of Israel, the power of the whole earth. Redeemer. Oh, okay. The water. Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 5. For thy maker is thine husband.
Right.
The Most High of hosts is his name.
Right. Our maker, the Most High, is our husband.
And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.
Our Redeemer. What does it mean, our Redeemer? No, the Redeemer. Redeemer what means that a redemption. Like to buy you back. Understand? To buy you back. You're in a predicament, and someone has to bring you out of that predicament, to redeem you. Understand? To buy you back out of that situation that you were in. Let me get hold on a second. Let me get another. The scripture in Isaiah when it said we were sold for naught but bought for back. It's Isaiah 58, 59, somewhere around there. We were sold for naught but bought without price.
You were bought at a price.
It's in Isaiah. I want to go there.
I'm the one got that at the top of his head.
To further explain what a redeemer means. We were sold for naught but bought with our money. So, what is it? 52 and 3? I read. Get that.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 52 and verse 3. For thus saith the Most High, ye have sold yourselves for naught.
Yeah, we sold ourselves for naught, man. That's what we did. That's what Israel did. We sold ourselves for naught. What does that mean?
Nothing.
We didn't get nothing for it. We just out there being a harlot, making the Most High jealous. What did we get for it? Nothing. We didn't get nothing for it. We didn't benefit from all that. We just out there in the world, fun with heathens, the other nations, putting their gods, their religions, their customs, trying to have a good time because it looks so fabulous on the outside until we got there and said, yeah, what is this? We sold ourselves for naught. Read it again.
Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 3. For thus saith the Most High, ye have sold yourselves for naught.
That's what we did. We sold ourselves for naught, for nothing. If it's, bro, if you're going to sell yourself, get something for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we should do that, but, and the person making a transaction, at least get something for what you, you know what I'm saying? If you're giving up something, get something for a value for what you're giving up. But we got nothing for a value for what we gave up. Read on.
And ye shall be redeemed without money.
But we shall be redeemed, we shall be bought, but we sold ourselves, right? And I'm trying to explain to you what redemption means. We sold ourselves for naught. But we shall be redeemed in what? We shall be bought back. Understand? With our money. You know what? We're not gonna pay anything for our redemption. Why? Because the Mashiach Yahushua is our redemption.
That's right.
He's buying us back. But nothing. We ain't paying. You know what I'm saying? That's what we owe the Mashiach Yahushua. So we owe the Mashiach Yahushua. Why? Because he's buying us back. And we ain't making a down payment. You know? He got us. What we paying up? Nothing. The Mashiach Yahushua is buying us back for nothing. Read it again. Let me get all the words.
Isaiah 52 and verse 3. For thus saith the Most High, ye have sold yourselves for naught.
We sold ourselves for naught. We get nothing for what for selling ourselves. Read on.
And ye shall be redeemed without money.
And we shall be redeemed without money. Because we ain't got nothing anyway. We didn't get nothing for selling ourselves. So we can't redeem ourselves. He said, Mashiach Yahushua is going to redeem us without money. Read on.
For thus saith the Most High Power, my people went down a far time into Egypt to sojourn there.
Right.
And the Assyrian oppressed them without cause.
Right, did you? See that? So the Most High we went to Egypt, right? Read a verse again.
Verse 4. For thus saith the Most High Power, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there.
We went out into Egypt. So who were persons in Egypt? Egyptians. But the scripture jumped to the Assyrians. What that telling you? We got oppressed by different nations through the generations. The Most High jumped from Egypt, understand, to the Assyrians. A different nation, different generations later on. So we got sold ourselves for naught to different generations, to different nations. Because the Assyrians wasn't in play at the time we were in Egypt. Understand? I went to Egypt in 1888 BC. The Assyrian didn't come into play until like 722 BC. Understand? More than like what that's like, do the math on that one. So most I let you know that we sold ourselves from north to different nations throughout history. Read on.
And the Assyrian oppressed them without cause.
Yeah, the Assyrians, what we do to the Assyrians? The Assyrians were miles away. We're not going to understand the Egyptians, are suspicious of us. I'm saying to say, just in case, they're so numerous. You know what I mean? And they know they were oppressing us anyway. It's just in case a war breaks out, they don't want to align themselves with the other nations and try to overthrow us. So, let's deal with them wisely. We know what that means. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Egyptians did. That's what the Americans do, right? That's what Esau is doing to us right now. Even us wisely. They're not. You see the election coming up. Just yesterday, they had an election in Jamaica. I don't know who's paying attention to that, but I just say but that's another story. But in a couple of months, we're gonna have an election in America. I'm saying, we know our people are, we're like pawns in their game. We're like pawns in their game. They promise us this, we know some carrots in front of us. We're gonna give it this, we're gonna give it that. You know what I'm saying? We're just pawns in their games. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what you know what I'm saying? What's gonna be there for us? Read it again. Read it.
Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 4, or which one? Start at 4. Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 4. For thus saith the Most High Power, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what have I here, saith the Most High, that my people is taken away for naught.
Right, that's right. We got taken away for naught. That's why we're redeemed. We're sold ourselves for naught. That's what's going on today. We are aligning ourselves with these different politicians. They're making all these empty promises to us, which they never keep. But our so-called leaders talking about, you gotta make your vote count. You gotta make a difference. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make your vote count.
Vote or die.
Our people, our fathers, they give their lives. They give their lives so you can vote. They give their lives so you can give your life for nothing. That's basically what it's saying. You know what I'm saying? For many years now, our people collectively align ourselves with these different political parties, selling ourselves for what? For naught. But the Most High said, the Mashiach Yahushua, they're going to redeem us for. Without money. You know?
Khan. They that rule over them make them to howl, saith the Most High.
They make us a howl. You know what I mean? When you're howling, there's a screaming, you're bawling, man. Because of the oppression, man. The oppression, you're crying, howling, bawling, you know what I'm saying? Because of the hardship you're going through. You got bills to pay. You know where the money comes from to pay your bills. All kind of, you know what you're going through. All kind of oppression you're going through. Hardship. Stressed out. You know, home and all that. Read on.
And my name continually every day is blasphemed.
Right. The curse of the Most High. What ain't about the Most High? Most High name is blasphemed continually every day. Tell me the Yahweh, don't the Yahoo. What about the Most High, man? Most High name continually blasphemy every day in the month. Read on.
Verse, therefore my people shall know my name. Therefore they shall know it that they that I am, he that doeth speak. Behold, it is I.
Right, so, but eventually our people shall know. When we have exhausted all our resources to no avail, and we have no recourse, then the Most High will reveal himself and let our people know that, yeah, he's the one redeeming us. We got money. Because we ain't got nothing to redeem ourselves anyway. We ain't got no strength. And we got to pay attention to what's going on in the economic and political climate, man. I see what the so-called pandemic plays out, and the virus and all that, and the vaccine and all that, and you know what I mean, all those things, the mandatory vaccine, all that they're proposing. We gotta pay attention to see how that plays out, and you know, keep in touch with each other, and see how we can, what course of action are we on, or the Most High is gonna rectify the situation regarding Israel and all, you know, so-called pandemic. Now go back to 1 Kings.
Khan. This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11.
Yo, this guy, I didn't know this was so deep. Go ahead.
1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 9.
Oh.
And the Most High was angry with Solomon because his heart turned from the Most High power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice.
I can understand the Most High being angry with Solomon, man, because how close Solomon was with the Most High. Solomon, you built the temple, huh? Yes, you would turn to Jerusalem, the east. Give me that. Read that.
8 and what? And 8 and 6.
Solomon, it was you, it was you who built the temple, and you who sent that massive prayer, that classic prayer to the Most High on behalf of Israel to this generation, to this present time. And that prayer that Solomon sent up to the Most High back then is relevant today, pertains to us today. It's because of that prayer that Solomon sent up back then that we can turn to the east, to Jerusalem, with confidence and pray to the Most High I know that the Most High is going to acknowledge our prayer.
Kahaan.
Read it out. 1 Kings 8.
I'm going to start at 45.
All right.
1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 45. Then hear thou in heaven their prayer and their supplication.
That's what Solomon said on our behalf. No, you got to stop further up.
Go further up.
Yeah.
I'm on 43.
Hold on. Let me see you got to stop.
Okay.
I think I get the gist of it.
No, that's not yet.
It's not verse 3. Huh? Right, verse 38. I said verse 3. I don't want to spend too much time here.
Kahaan. 1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 43. Hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth to thee for, that all people on the earth may know thy name, to fear thee.
And even the strangers, which were the nations who knew they were living amongst us, and that we were the most chosen people. Read on.
To fear thee as do thy people Israel, and that they may know that this house which I have builded is called by thy name.
Right? The house that Solomon built is called by the Most High's name. Read on.
If thy people go out to battle against their enemy, whithersoever thou shalt send them, and shall pray unto the Most High toward the city which thou hast chosen, and toward the house which I have built for thy name.
It was praying on behalf of the warriors, the military men of Israel. Read on.
Then hear thou in heaven their prayer and their supplication,
Wow.
and maintain their cause.
We gotta visualize this. And understand the power of this. I see the connection that we had with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Solomon was talking to Most High as if he's talking to us right now. As if he's talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High was just listening. Right now, sometimes when you talk to the Most High, pray to the Most High, we can have doubt. We can have certain doubt because we don't see the immediate feedback. You know, sometimes when you don't see the immediate feedback, that sometimes like in a computer, and you get an email that said that they want some they have to take a survey or something like that because they want some feedback from you to see what they think about the product or service or what they're offering and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how they know that they're in tune with you. Likewise, we don't get the immediate feedback from the Most High in this present time. We can have some kind of doubt, which you shouldn't have. But back then, a prayer goes up, you get a feedback from the Most High right away. Yo, that's a different level. Our connection was so immediate. Well, I gotta escape.
I was saying the prayer start in verse 21.
Verse 21?
Yeah, that's where the prayer start.
Let me see. It's alright.
Yeah, it starts back there, but it's a lot to go through.
Yeah, it's a lot
to go through.
You can on our own time, you can read that 1 Kings 8, chapter 8. You get the essence of Solomon's interaction with the Most High as for the building the temple and the prayer that they sent up on behalf of Israel that pertains to that generation at the time, and it's very relevant to this present generation perpetually until Mashiach Yahushua comes back. Yeah.
21 to 53.
Yeah, that's a lot of verses. So, read on.
Verse 46. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy,
right.
Far or near.
Right. That's right now. That's what happened. We were carried away to the captive of our enemies, far from the Most High. Read on.
Verse 47. Yet if they bethink themselves in the land whether they were carried captives, and repent and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, we have sinned, we have done purposely, we have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee toward their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name.
Right. So Solomon let him know, ask the Most High, when they build a house, if our fellow Israelites be carried away captive in a land that is not theirs, if they turn to this temple to the east and pray to you and ask you for your help, be you know what I mean? Be receptive
Kahaan.
to the supplication. Be receptive to the plea, and grant them their wishes if they pray to it earnestly. All right, go back to 1 Kings after this. You got to finish the chapter.
Kahaan.
Chapter 11.
1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 10. And he commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not which the Most High commanded. Wherefore the Most High said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant.
Wow. Yeah. The Most High said, you haven't kept my commandments. You are going after these strange gods, these gods of this woman, of the nations. And because of that, I will surely rend the kingdom from you, and will give it to your servant. I'm not even going to give it to your to someone on your level. To let you know how angry I am at your behavior or your actions. I'm not even going to give it to somebody of your status on your level. I'm going to give it to someone serving you, your servant. Read on.
Verse 12. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for thy father's sake.
Read it again. Skip it over there because it's his father's name.
Kahaan. Verse 12. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will render it out of the hand of thy son.
Right, he said, I'm not going to do it in your time because of respect for David. Because David was the one who chose you as his successor. But I will render it out of your son's hand. Read on.
Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to thy son for David my servant's sake, Salah, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
Right, so the Most High said, you know what? I'm not going to take everything from your son. I will give him a tribe for David's sake and for Jerusalem's sake, because it's the chosen city. Further let you know that Jerusalem is the chosen city of the Most High, not another nation, not Ethiopia or any other nation, but about Jerusalem. Understand? Read on.
Verse 14. And the Most High stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was the king. He was of him.
Yeah, it's Hadad now. Hadad was the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. Remember when Saul, how was it? David slaughtered the Edomites, and but He was an Edomite ran to Egypt and grew up in the house of Pharaoh in Egypt. This very same Hadad that the Most High stirring up as an adversary to them too. Because this guy was holding grudges. Because he knew, remember that there was Solomon and a navy of ships in Edom? Because Edom was paying tribute to Israel. So these guys, Edom was they was carrying all kinds of grudges against Israel because of what David did to them. You know what I'm saying? Read on. I read on. Yeah, it's coming up. Read on.
Verse 15. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab the captain of the host was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom.
Yeah, David smitten every male in Edom. He slaughtered the Edomites. Read on.
For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom.
Wow. They slaughtered the Edomites. They cut off. Joab was in Edom for 6 months, just slaughtering the Edomites. No wonder they ever perpetrate hatred against us. You know what I'm saying? So they remember all these things. Read on.
That Hadad fled.
Yeah, this other, fled, yeah.
He and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child. And they arose out of Midian. See
that? So also, after David was killing all the Edomites, Hadad, his young Edomites fled. He escaped the wrath of David and escaped to Egypt. Read on.
Verse 18. And they arose out of Midian and came to Paran. And they took men with them out of Paran. And they came to Egypt unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, which gave him an house and appointed him victuals and gave him land. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of Tapines, the queen.
So let me go back to verse 18. And they arose out of Midian and came to Paran. And they arose out of Midian. And they took men with them out of Paran. And they came to Egypt. Midian. So we know we also have an history with the Midianites. So all these different nations, they remembered how we slaughtered them, how we dominated them. So they had whenever they had a chance to they form alliances. Trying to form alliances against Israel. So they were all on one accord to rescue this young Edomite and brought him to Egypt to grow up in the house of Pharaoh in Egypt. Read on.
Verse 20. And the sister of Tapines bare him Genubath, his son, who Tapines weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Genubath was in Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. And when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his fathers, and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, Let me depart, that I may go in my own country. Then Pharaoh said unto him, But what hast thou lacked with me? That, behold, thou seekest to go to thine own country. And he answered, Nothing, howbeit, let me go in any wise. And the Most High stirred him up another adversary.
There was one adversary, Hadad Edomite, who escaped from the wrath of King David and Joab, and grew up in Egypt until David and Joab died. So now you want to go back to his old country. Read on.
Verse 23. And the Most High stirred him up another adversary, Rezon, the son of Eladah, which fled from his lord Hadadezer, king of Zobah. And he gathered men unto him, and became captain over a band. When David slew them in Zobah, and they went to Damascus, and dwelt therein, and reigned in Damascus.
Right, so Damascus, you know, that's the capital of Syria. So it's probably Syrians, you know.
Verse 25, and he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did, and he abhorred Israel and reigned over Syria.
Right.
And Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and
so that's two staunch enemies right there, Hadad and the Syrians. So the Edomites and the Syrians were now been stirred up by the Mosai as enemies to go against Solomon, or Solomon's son. Read on.
Verse 26, and Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and Ephraite of Zeredah, Solomon's servant, Ephraite, and Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and Ephraite of Zeredah, Solomon's servants, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman. Even he lifted up his hands against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king.
Enemies so far. Read on.
Solomon built Milio and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that was industrious, he made him rule over all that charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time,
right,
when
so this Jeroboam was a warrior. Jeroboam was a man of valor, and Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, was very vigilant. He made him a ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. So he made a ruler over Ephraim. Read. Solomon appointed Jeroboam. Jeroboam was a servant of Solomon, and Solomon appointed him ruler over Ephraim. Read on.
Verse 29. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that a prophet Ahijah, the Shilonite, found him in the way, and he came, clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field.
Right. So the prophet Ahijah called up to the prophet Ahijah, the Shulamite. Shulamite, that's the town or city that this prophet was from, in the tribe. So the prophet Ahijah called up to Jeroboam. Read on.
Verse 30. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Most High of Israel, the power of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant's David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me, and have worshipped Asherah, the goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the goddess of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life, for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. And unto his son I will give one tribe, that David my servant might have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desireth, and shall be king over Israel. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and wilt walk in my ways, and do all that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did. And I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I did for David, and I will give Israel unto thee. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever.
Right. So this is another adversary. The prophet Ahijah met up with Jeroboam, let him know that, hey, the Most High got plans for you. The Most High is not pleased with Solomon because of how we neglected him and went up after the women, went up after the gods of the other nations, Chemosh and all that, Ashtaroth. Yeah, and so Most High is going to take the kingdom from Solomon's son, Jeroboam, Rehoboam. Okay, and give it to you, the 10 tribes, but he's going to leave 2 tribes with Solomon. And if you keep the commandments, hey, I'll let you reign for a long time, reign forever. Read on verse 30, verse 40.
Verse 40. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam.
Solomon heard of this, of course. Just like when Saul heard that David is going to be his successor, what did Saul do? Try to kill David. Yeah, Saul heard that David was going to be successor.
You hurled a javelin at him.
Yeah, Saul tried to kill
like
David.
Football.
Relentlessly pursued David to kill him. Now Solomon, on the other hand, he heard that Jeroboam was going to be his successor, and not Rehoboam. Now I'm saying, what did he try to do? Try to kill Jeroboam. Read verse 40 again.
1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 40. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt.
So it seems like Egypt is always a refuge.
Yeah, like
what's wrong with Egypt, man? Everybody's always going to Egypt. They are so accommodative. What's wrong with Egypt? Anybody got a problem? Come on over to Egypt. Yeah. I don't know.
I like America. Egypt like another America.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Except in the last days, no one like the Arabs, they took over Egypt. Why did we get to Egypt? Because I guess everybody when they went to Egypt, they brought some to Egypt. Mm-hmm. I guess the Arabs didn't bring nothing. Maybe that's why Egypt is down now. Let me get some of Egypt, man. So the most of they should have no work in Egypt. We need to accommodate him to wickedness. Give me Isaiah 30. We're not running to Egypt, man. What's up with that? Number 31.
31 from the top?
Isaiah 31 from the top.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 31. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help.
See that? They always run to Egypt for help, man. They also got tired of it, my son. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what's up with that? Run to Egypt. I know the Mashi devil tried to run to Egypt. Because Pharaoh was trying to kill him, he was a youngin, so that was different. That's it. But perpetually, read it again, verse 3, chapter.
Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Most High.
Right, see? Instead of making the Most High their refuge, instead of admitting and acknowledging their transgressions and turn to the Most High, what do? They run to Egypt. Moses says, woe to them that go to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots. Egypt are there. Because at that time Egypt was kind of like stable. It was kind of they were kind of away from the other nations. So they were kind of out of the way. So everybody was run to Egypt for help. You know.
Verse 2, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men.
They are just men. They're not the Most High. You know?
And not God.
And not the Most High.
And their horses flesh.
Their horses flesh, man.
And not spirit. When the Most High shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together.
Right. So both you and the Egyptians have failed. Both you and those people you run into, instead of the Most High, shall fail. That's what Most High is saying, because our people are this tendency back in the days to run to other nations, particularly the Egyptians. Even the other nations run to Egypt for help, because Egypt, I guess, historically was an established nation. So go back to 1 Kings.
1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 40. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon.
Right, so Jeroboam fled to Egypt until Solomon died. Read on.
And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all he did.
When did Solomon die? Solomon died what? 933 BC. He reigned for 40 years and died in 933 BC. That's when the kingdom was split. Understand?
Verse 41. And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the books of the acts of Solomon?
What did I tell you? What does that mean to you? And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? They're letting you know that besides the scriptures, there are other books, like that stuff that supplement the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The records. Because scholars, they kept records. You know what I'm saying? The scribes and scholars, they kept records of different things, and they kept records of the acts. Of course, just like they are today. All things that are documented about the different presidents and all that. The records are kept. Read on.
42. And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years.
Right, so Solomon reigned over all Israel for what? 40 years. So there were 3 kings that reigned over Israel for 40 years. King Saul, King David, and King Solomon. They reigned over a united Israel. And by united, I mean all the 12 tribes. For 40 years, those 3 kings. King Saul, King David, which is Solomon's father, and King Solomon. They reigned over Israel, a united Israel, all the 12 tribes, for 40 years. Read on.
Verse 43. And King Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David, his father. And Rehoboam, his son, reigned in his stead.
Right. So Solomon was succeeded by his son Rehoboam. Okay, that was in 933 BC. Okay, so we finished one chapter, but I think there was a lot brought out in this one chapter though, because it's so so profound. So profound that Solomon's the events leading up to Solomon's kingdom is split in two, and why and all that. So we're gonna conclude. We're gonna continue the Most High willing next week, chapter 12, and in the aftermath of Solomon's death and his sons assuming rulership of Israel. And go ahead. Okay, you can do that. It's fine. Is it open yet? Yeah.
There we go.
Kan. Shalom Yasharala. We just finished chapter 11 of 1 Kings concerning Solomon's reign and the events leading up to the dividing of his kingdom after his death. So if there are any questions that you may have pertaining to those events, there's a number there, 954-526-5299. And the most I willing, we'll try to answer your questions. But show much go shot.
If they post a question.
Is that a question? Nothing? All right. Wrap it up then. So what are Yashuala? For logging in, a live stream. Don't forget tomorrow, the most I will, we're going to the Shabbat class, 12:30 p.m. We are located 2937 West Broad Boulevard. And also, I think 11 o'clock, we're going to have the Hebrew class. We're going to say, Amadium Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand to face Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama Alwa, Nadawad, Mana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Naayam, Shabbat, Akyam, Gam, Yakad, Kashaman, Atawad, Ail, Araash, Darad, Ail, Zakwan, Aran, Shayarad, Ail, Paya, Madawak Yawa, Katal, Ramwan, Shayarad, Araya, Sayawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawa, Awa, Abaraka, Kayawam, Awalam, Asham, Mashiach, Yoshai, the water, Aman.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 1. This is the book of Psalms, 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garment, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessings in life forevermore. By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Man. Hallelujah.